Hi, this is Stephen Estelle, the Applications Engineer at RapidScan 3D, and today I'm going to show you the reverse engineering of this part that was in our office by utilizing the Karbon CMM machine. So this is the CMM machine by Karbon, the 6th DOF, that I'm going to be using to reverse engineer the part in our office. It works by tracking the different sensors on the back of a stylus while utilizing the buttons on the clicker to register what point you want to register in your project. So this is the stylus that we're going to be utilizing in our project. It has sensors on the back of it so that the CMM machine can track the stylus position, while the clicker has 3 buttons on it. It has a button on the top, which is a laser pointer, a button in the middle, which is the accept button, and a button on the bottom, which is the cancel button. And we utilize those 2 buttons to select points and to stop collecting data when desired. This is the command plate that the CMM machine utilizes in its plug-in software Point2CAD inside of Solidworks. The command plate allows you to draw circles, make sketches, arches, as well as create features with those sketches such as extruding and cutting. It allows you to also orientate your sketch drawing as well as create planes and different reference geometries as needed. So right now you see the Karbon menu that registers the Karbon machine to the computer. And right now we're about to open up the CMM and the Point2CAD plugin in Solidworks. So the first thing we're going to do inside of Solidworks is turn the CMM on and then define the command plate. So in order to find the command plate, we're going to click on the 3 different points in the top left, the top right, and the bottom right of the command plate. And that's how the CMM machine locates the command plate and allows you to utilize the drawing features on the piece of paper. Next thing we're going to do is define the coordinate system. So the first thing we're going to do is select points on the top plane. So we select 4 points to define a plane. That's going to be the top of the table. The next thing we're going to do is select the front plane. And we're going to select a couple points on the front of the part to create a plane in that direction. Lastly, we're going to create our third plane, which is going to be on the right side of the part. And we're going to do the same process and select a couple points on the right side of the part. Once we finish, we hit OK, and then we continue on to the next part. So now that we have all of our planes defined in the space that we want, we're going to start drawing on the top plane. So we select the top plane, and then from there we're going to hit the auto sketch on the command plate. And what auto sketch allows you to do is you can draw a bunch of lines or different arches, and then once you finish, you're able to close them all off to make a closed sketch. So right now we're making the bottom part of the part, which is kind of a rounded off square. So we're going around the border of the round square to select the outside of the part. And at the end, once we finish the sketch, we're going to complete it, and it's going to make the entire sketch closed. Once we finish, we hit OK, and then we continue on to the next part. So now that we have all of our planes defined in the space that we want, we're going to start drawing on the top plane. Sometimes the beginning and the end of your drawing may not line up perfectly based off of where you put your point, so you probably need to add a relationship within those 2 parts of the drawing to make sure everything lines up accurately. So now that we have the bottom of the sketch created, we're going to move on to the next part, which is extruding it up. So we have the sketch selected, and we're going to extrude it up to the top of the surface on the part. So we're going to select a point on the top of it, and once we hit accept, it extrudes up to that exact coordinate. So the next thing we're going to do is add the circle that is kind of inside of the rounded off square. So we're going to select the top plane again, and we're going to draw a circle sketch on that plane. Once the circle is created, we're going to do the same thing and extrude it up to the same surface as we did the rounded off square. So now that we have that created, we want to select the flat rounded off square, and we want to create an extrude cut of 4 circles in the corner of the part. So we selected that face, and now we're drawing 4 small circles in the corners, which later on we're going to do an extrude cut all the way through the part. Now that that's done, we're going to do an extrude cut, and we're going to have it go all the way to the table and cut all the way through the part. So everything looks just about lined up, and we're going to continue on to drawing the bigger circle, or the center of the part. So now we're going to select that same surface that we did the circle cut, and we're going to draw another circle for the middle of the part. We're going to select 3 points to create the circle, and then from there we're going to do an extrude up to the top of the part. So now that we have that created, now we want to start working on the center circle cuts in the top of the part. So we're going to select the top surface of that bigger circle we just drew, and we're going to sketch a circle right in the middle of it. And then we're going to do an extrude cut down to about a couple of millimeters inside of the part. This circle doesn't go all the way through. Once we get that part created, we're going to select the surface in the middle of the part, and then we're going to extrude a smaller circle within there that's going to cut all the way through the part. Now that we have that sketch created, we're going to do the extrude cut and extrude it all the way to the table. Perfect. So as you can also see in the floating window on the select reference plane, you're able to see the X, Y, and Z coordinate of the stylus. This allows you to see the exact position of where you're drawing. So as you can see, all the circles that we drew and extruded and cut are all in line with each other, showing that all the coordinates are actually perfectly matched up. In order to utilize some of the buttons, you have to make sure that the stylus is actually inside a selected reference plane coordinate system, so that the CMM machine actually registers the stylus. So the next plan we're going to do is we're going to create the edges that kind of stick up out of the circle on the side. So we're going to do the auto sketch and create the line and the 3 arches that create that part. And we're going to do one side at a time. Once the sketch is done, we're going to do an extrude again, and we're going to extrude that same drawing up to the top of where that part reaches. We're going to do the same thing for the other side. Select the same surface and draw another sketch. And we're going to do the exact same process of selecting that sketch and extruding it to the top of that part. So one thing we're going to want to do is actually go back into the sketch and edit it, because the start and the end point do not line up exactly to where we pointed it to. So we're going to add a relation to make sure it lines up perfectly and make the line and the arc tangent to each other. We're going to do the exact same thing to the other boss and then edit that sketch as well. We're going to add a relation to the beginning and the end and make them tangent, and then continue on. So now we just need to do a couple more features to complete this part. So the first thing we're going to do is start working on the circles on the side. But in order to do that, we have to create a reference plane. So we're creating a reference plane on the flat surface of the circle that extrudes out the side of the part. So we select a couple of points, and then it creates a plane utilizing those points. As you can see, the plane is perfectly in line and perpendicular with the flat surfaces of the part. So then the next plan is to create another surface for the other side, so that we could create the circle on both sides of the part. We can go into the planes and start creating the circle to extrude. So we go into our circle sketch, and we're going to select 3 points on the outside of the circle, and that will generate the sketch of the circle that we want. So now we're going to take that circle and extrude it, and then repeat the same process with the other circle. So we're going to select the plane with the stylus, And then from there, we're going to create the circle sketch. We're going to select 3 points on the circle. And then once we have the circle drawn, we're going to hit the extrude it the exact same way as the other. So now all that we have left to do is to extrude cut a smaller circle within that circle, and then we should be complete. So we're going to use a stylus. We're going to select the surface of the circle, and then from there we're going to draw another smaller circle and do an extrude cut. We're going to cut it all the way through, and then we're going to repeat and do the same process for the other side. Select the face, go into the circle drawing, and then from there do another extrude cut. And then once we have that, you can see that the part was created with all the correct dimensions as the original part. So the part didn't really take too long to reverse engineer because the CMM machine was able to pull off all the different dimensions and measurements automatically. There was no need for any measurements with a caliper or a ruler or any measuring tapes. It allows you to create parts quickly and easily with the correct dimensions as fast as possible, giving you an advantage when it comes to time when reverse engineering some parts. So ultimately, this is Steven Estelle, the Applications Engineer at RapidScan 3D, working on the Karbon 6-stop CMM machine. If you have any further questions, feel free to contact us, send us an email, or give us a phone call. Thanks for watching.